Hi CCIS 4th graders or anyone else who's watching. So today we are going to do shadow drawing. So that's going to be including lines and movement. So what we're going to do is I want you guys to either get a flashlight or maybe your parents' phone or your guardian's phone and make sure it does have a flashlight and then it's working. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be learning about kind of using shadows to create art. So I've got a couple objects that I want to test out to see how I like the shadows, and let's get started. So I've got a pencil and a marker for right now, and what we're going to do is we're going to do one object this week. Next week we are going to do two objects. So we're going to have one already made, and then we're going to do another one where we're going to go possibly outside. If you can't go outside, we're going to find another object that you guys can do. So let's begin. So I'm going to put my first object, got a little Tigger figurine statue object. I'm going to take my flashlight and turn it on. Oh, turn it on, hopefully. There we go. Alright, so I've got my flashlight turned on, and I'm just going to be moving my flashlight up and down, see how I like some of the shadows this Tigger statue is creating. If you don't like how the shadows are, so like maybe I'm thinking like, you know, I don't really like how he's making the shadows, it's not what I was thinking. Just try other shadows and objects. So I kind of like this one. I like the shapes it's creating. It's kind of cool. As I said, move your flashlight around. If you move it towards the top of your paper or your top by your head, you're going to see a smaller shadow. If you kind of bring it down towards your chest, you're going to see a longer shadow. So just play around with it and maybe see what you like. Kind of liking something like that. You might need another person to kind of help you. So in that case, maybe leaning against something, or maybe try going a different direction. So I'm going to bring in another source of flashlight. So as said, think about how you want to place your object. Alright, so now we're going to take the pencil. So I'm putting my marker off to the side. You gotta make sure that you're holding everything steady. You got your flashlight set, you got your object steady, and what we're going to be doing is we're just going to be tracing the shadow. So pretty simple idea, just tracing where that shadow is. It's okay if it doesn't look exactly like it, like I'm a little off right there, but that's alright. So we're just tracing our object. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing something called movement. So we're going to be moving our object, or making our art look like it's moving. Oh, this one's a little hard to do. Making a circle. It's okay if your piece does not look okay. Like mine's a little rough because I'm holding my object steady, I'm holding my flashlight steady. This would be really great if you had a sibling around and they want to help you out or want to do some art too. So this is where maybe they can kind of come around and help you along with that. Alright, so I'm going to put my flashlight down, I'm going to put my object down, and here's my shape that I have with my shadow. So to create that movement, we're actually going to be tracing along our object. Now if it's easier for you to, let's say I've got my shape right here, got my flashlight, let's say I want to move my flashlight down and just trace that part, you can totally do that. Or move it up, trace that part. Totally fine. Otherwise, you guys can put that object off to the side and we can just trace along the outside or inside of our object. So I'm just using my pencil, I'm just going along on the inside, just kind of following along. So we're almost kind of making an abstract art right here. So we're using objects to kind of create a cool shadow. If you guys go outside and decide that you want to maybe do a tree, feel free to. Right now for me, it was pretty cloudy out, so I could not do one. And that's why I came inside here. Now you see I'm going to be kind of continuing along my lines even when I can't connect a little bit. So like I have right here a little bit open. It's okay, you guys can do that too. Maybe you guys come up here. Alright, so I'm going to continue along. Make sure you find that object that you want to trace. You want to do that shadow drawing for. And I'll see you in a little bit. And we're back. Alright, so I've got my, I guess, wheel shape already laid out. I penciled in all of the little inside lines. I actually went back in, did the flashlight, and made a longer one. So I had another shadow right here. And then I outlined everything in my marker. So you guys can do that. If you guys don't have any markers, that's okay. You guys can still do pencil. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to erase all my little lines that I missed, or maybe my marker was a little too fat, so I couldn't get into the little niches that my pencil was able to get in. And this is what I want you guys to do, especially if you guys use marker or maybe used a nice black color pencil or crayon to kind of get this nice dark shape. I don't know if you guys noticed, but especially once you start doing that black marker, when you're doing the lines, your eyes almost start to kind of go off course, and it's like, wait a minute, I'm not going that direction. I have to go in this direction. So you really have to think about it. Kind of tricks your eyes. Almost like that optical illusion that we were doing a couple weeks ago. So once you have all those pencil marks erased, we're going to get into coloring. So what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to pick one color. So we're going to do monochromatic right now. So just pick one color and we're just going to color this in. So I'm going to pause it so that way you guys can choose what colors you want, or maybe you choose color pencils or crayons, or maybe you have watercolor paints or paints that you want to try out. But I'm going to pause it and I'm going to color mine in probably, I think, maybe a blue or green color, because this kind of reminds me of the sea. And I'll see you in a little bit. Alright, so we're back and I got my object all colored in. I used 3 different colored pencils. If you guys only have maybe like one color of one color pencil, remember, think about using value. So we learned about value in our optical illusion. So going from really light to really dark. So here's an example. I'll use my darker color pencil. So I press down pretty hard because I want that nice dark. And then I'm going to gradually lift up from the paper, get a nice lighter color, and then I'm going to push back down and get that nice darker color. It's more vibrant. So maybe think about that value that we learned about when you're thinking about coloring in your object. So this is only if you have one color pencil. So like if I only had this color green pencil, so that might be something I might think about. So when you're coloring in, think about like maybe alternating the colors. I went from light to dark when I alternated. Maybe you go from light to dark, or dark to light, or maybe you just do a crazy combination, who knows. But make sure you do some really cool techniques, some coloring, and I can't wait to see it.